How's your October going? Are you feeling magic? Whimsy, fun? Are you feeling a little stressed? October's actually been a little rough for me, energetically. So whatever you're feeling is okay and valid. Today we're going to continue our theme for shadow work and transformation. And today we will be discussing anger and secret rage. Now, anger is one of those emotions that we can consider ugly because it's not always pretty. It can bring out the worst in us. It can be uncomfortable. It can be explosive. But it is such an important emotion, pointing to things in our life that is asking desperately for change and action. And what are some things that cause anger? Most often it could be boundary violations. This is especially true for people pleasers. And there's a reason why the saying goes, beware of the quiet, nice ones. Because they are the first ones to explode. And there's some truth in this. Because pressure cooker builds and builds and builds. And eventually it has to release. So if you're compounding and allowing boundaries to be trampled on over and over and over again to please others, it's going to end up becoming too much and likely explode at some point. And another reason is a feeling of powerlessness. When we're living in a life with circumstances that we feel are beyond our control, living in a life that perhaps you cannot stand, because if you feel it's your only way, you are conditioned to live a certain way, it can bring up so much rage and anger and unhappiness. There's nothing worse than living a false life that does not belong to you, and it can create so much anger. And that brings us to another reason for anger is self-protection. If you've been through so much, and sometimes it's almost impossible to process any emotions in that moment, because trauma can be so overwhelming that we have no choice but to let it sink in, because it's too much to process. But that accumulates over time, and it's stored in your body. And then you don't know how to protect yourself. So anger is a form of protection, lashing out against people because you just don't feel safe. You don't feel loved and worthy. You've been through too much. You've seen too much. You've endured too much. much, and it brings you so much anger that you're always lashing out in protection. And that leads to the next one, which is nervous system overload and trapped emotion. When you've been through trauma after trauma and you are just absorbing all of that into your cells, into your very being, and instead of expressing it, healing it, letting it go, because you just don't know better, because it's so painful, you don't want to look at it. It's happened to many of us, don't feel bad. But that compounds after time, and it builds, and again it becomes like a pressure cooker. And it's something that we don't see with our eyes, but we feel it. We are walking around with immense amount of energetic trauma. Everything that you experienced, all the heartache and pain you are carrying in your body all day, every day, if you've never processed it. And that feeling is horrible. It feels like a disease. You always feel it within you, carrying it around, following you everywhere, and that can bring up so much anger. Because you're just done with it. You're so fatigued and tired of carrying this weight with you. And you simply, literally cannot handle any more energetic trauma or even small circumstances in your life. Like a daily routine, getting ready in the morning, going to work, going food shopping, cooking yourself dinner. Those simple tasks can bring up so much anger because your poor body simply can't handle it. And then so those are the personal anger. And then of course there is societal anger. The first thing we need to focus on is the self, healing the self. And once you are completely healed, you might be thinking on a societal level and how you can help and make change in society. The things that we're facing today can bring up so much rage and anger, especially for certain groups of people, and especially for women. Unfortunately, almost every woman I've known has faced some sort of oppression, control, being told they're too much, too little, not enough, that they need to look a certain way, act a certain way. They've been treated like an object, something that is owed to the opposite sex, handled inappropriately, physically, emotionally, and that can bring up so much sacred rage, not only for ourselves, but for our ancestral line. We are carrying all of that rage with us, and we are meant to feel that, to force the desire for change. So, there is much in the world that needs attention, that needs changing, but for now we are focusing on the self. start with some selenite to just cleanse our energetic field, the space around us, and our energy body. You can close your eyes, take a few deep breaths in, start to identify any tension in your body, and let's release that tension. Let it fall away. And let's take a moment to identify those areas in your life where you feel those triggers of anger. Where do you physically feel it in your body? Is it a small whisper, or is it a scream? Anger is a fiery, explosive emotion. And when I was going through my own trauma purges for 2 years, it always started the same: irritation, crankiness, feeling low and just drained. But then when the actual emotion arised, it was always different. Sometimes it was a deep depression, sadness. Sometimes it was grief and loss. But sometimes, and the ones that shocked me the most, was the explosive rage. When you go through those traumas over and over again, and it's simply too much to process, so you absorb it into yourself. And these things are happening to you in your life that you have no control over. They're horrible, they're ugly, they're painful, beyond painful. It creates so much anger, and if you have no way to express it because it's too much, or you just don't know how, it accumulates within you. And I got angry easily and annoyed and frustrated, irritated because of all of the things that I mentioned. But I was never a screaming type of person. But when these rage purges came, like I said, it's a fiery, explosive type of emotion. And that's how you can tell the difference between if you have healed from it or not. Because if you think, well, I don't think about this trauma anymore, so I probably have moved on from it and healed from it. It's a very different thing than physically purging it from your body. When you are purging rage, it's going to be a very physical action. There could be screaming, uncontrollable screaming. There could be throwing, stomping, shaking. It's very physical to get it out. And that's how you know you are physically purging rage from your body. So continue to identify those triggers in your life. Is it boundaries? Is it overwhelmed nervous system? Is it societal rage? Is it powerlessness? As we go through the chakras, we are going to send love and healing to those areas. And usually the first thing it needs simply is awareness and attention. That simple act usually is enough to start the healing process, as long as your body feels safe. So feel into those areas. unconditional love and encouragement that if you are ready, those circumstances of anger, frustration, and rage can leave your body so that you can live with more of a sense of peace. You deserve to feel peace. And if we have too much anger stored within us, it's going to be nearly impossible to really feel that sense of inner peace for a sustained period of time. And release any feelings of guilt or shame for feeling angry all the time. Our anger is a cue. It's asking us for attention, that there's something in our life that's not right. Somatic exercises and stretches could be very useful for someone with a lot of anger stored in their body, a lot of trauma. It can help loosen things up within your tissues. It's good support. But like I said, the attention and the safety are the two most important things to get started. And we're going to focus on your throat to really help encourage, set those boundaries that you need. Boundaries are absolutely necessary for our peace and our well-being. It's time to stop worrying about what others will think. If you say no, people who say no are seen as unagreeable. So it can be so hard to not worry about what they think when they're like, why did they say no? But we need to normalize being able to set those boundaries with love, because it's what you need. No, I cannot go out tonight. I need rest and recuperation. Whatever that boundary is for you. Always being the person that people call on for help. Now, there's nothing wrong with providing help for people. But if you're being taken advantage of all of your time and peace, there are other people who can help. You deserve to have that space and that time for yourself. And it could be work boundaries, bosses who ask too much from you over and over and over again. It's okay to advocate for yourself. And if they don't allow it, this might not be the space for you. Sending you encouragement to use your voice to speak up for yourself and set those boundaries, and to live authentically the way you need to. And not live a life that was previous which can create so much unhappiness, anger. And let's move to your solar plexus. That area of personal power. And if you're feeling that powerlessness and anger due to that, let's send encouragement to release what is not serving you in your life. Because you are not actually powerless. It can feel like that when we're so immersed in this life that is not for us. And it feels like there's no way out. Put your hand to your solar plexus and feel light glowing beyond yourself from that area, radiating outwards. You are powerful. You are strong. And you can make changes in your life. This is your life to live. And if this is a source of anger for you, start to think of ways to get out of this state of powerlessness, living a life that doesn't belong to you. Things do not change until we make action. Solar plexus is also a place of action. What action do you need to take to begin that snowball effect of making changes in your life? Because embodiment is key. You can visualize. You can make vision boards. Those are all helpful things to help create that vision in your mind. But you need to start embodying that life. Make it yours already until everything catches up. You will see that anger start to dissipate. And then when you feel safe, you can release everything that is stored. Sending encouragement for release, for empowerment. What comes up in your mind when you think about anger? Are there certain circumstances that immediately come to mind? Do you feel anger, but you don't know where it's coming from? And that's okay. You don't always need to know where the anger is coming from. Because especially if you're empathic or if you have a strong ancestral line that had a lot of a certain kind of rage, it's going to be carried within you. So you could be purging things that aren't necessarily yours. It's important to remember that self-love is the basis for all change, for all empowerment. You are a beautiful, divine, eternal soul. And if you are ready to release your rage, you are safe to do so. Keep reminding your body that you are safe, because it will not release until it feels it is ready to do so. about having a lot of anger. Some of us have just experienced a lot more than others. And so when people look at you a certain way because you're angry all the time, it's none of their business. And there's a reason why we're angry. But if you're ready, you can start to release that and make a change in your life. But never feel like there's something wrong with you, because there isn't. And like I said, sacred rage, there's a reason for it. It's necessary. If you'll notice in society, we get so wrapped up in our lives that we settle for what the norm is right now. We settle for the grind, working almost all of our life away, because that's the way it is. We settle for growing prices, for the control that is in our society. We settle for powerlessness. We settle for so many things. But it's not until there is a sacred rage amongst the collective that real change takes place. There's a reason why there's so much nonsense happening in positions of power. We need to feel that anger and that rage to make those changes. Because I truly believe all of this chaos will lead to a better future. More people will perhaps wake up. So while anger and rage can be dangerous, it is an important emotion. It's just important to actually bring awareness to it, pay attention to it, and make the action, the change that it's asking for. Avoidance is what makes it dangerous. We're in your sacral chakra to help release those emotions. Imagine your body, every inch of it, every cell, everything opening to receive energetic healing and to allow release. And let's move to your root to help your body feel stable and safe, to release that anger that is stuck And if you bring awareness to it, you can begin to release. Begin to make that change. Avoidance is always the enemy of change. And we will begin with the self. And if you are called, if that is your life path, you can then focus on the societal change. Wherever that anger is for you, whatever those triggers are. How can you say no more in your life? How can you support yourself to feel more powerful and make changes? Those two things alone will ease so much of the anger that you could be holding. It's been a pleasure spending this time with you, and I hope you feel some relief. Because anger is difficult to hold, and it's difficult to live with, and it's not pretty at times, but there's a reason for it. And once we purge that anger, and once we purge the trauma, everything heavy within us, you can start to live from a place of neutrality. And circumstances that used to be explosive for you now simply don't touch you.